Good evening. Here we are, and here is the long-promised video about my planning spreadsheet. So what I wanted to do this evening is not stay at it for too long, but just kind of walk you through what information I myself put in my spreadsheet. If there are enough comments and if there is interest, I can make this spreadsheet available. I'll probably make another copy of it that doesn't have my own trip details on it. And just let me know in the comments if that is something that you would like to gain access to. Drop me a message. I can always send it to anyone who wants it. So I'm just going to go through then and say and show you what I put in it and why. First thing you'll notice across the very top, I have color-coded each park. Now these are basically arbitrary colors. I mean, Magic Kingdom, red, because you've got your reds, your blacks, your whites for Mickey, Minnie, etc. Hollywood Studios, I went with yellow because you kind of have the gold of the stars. Water parks are blue because water is blue. Animal Kingdom, I went with green. Epcot didn't really have a color, but you see Figment sometimes wearing orange jumpers and such, so thought why not. Picked just a visually different color for Resorts and Springs. Black for non-holiday days because we don't like those, and gray for travel days. What I then do is throughout the spreadsheet I use that same color code to, at an initial glance, be able to know what I'm looking at. Starting from there then, I have the dates of my trip. I went ahead and I blacked out all of the dates before the trip, and I grayed the travel days. From there, on the left-hand side of the spreadsheet, and this is not final yet, because the magic hours are actually not officially announced for the dates that I'm going, but based on current patterns, what I expect them to be, I've marked that in there. I've also marked in our chosen park for the day. Now, it is possible if you wanted to, you could put one park / another park if you're planning on doing a different park for morning and evening. Personally, for the most part, my wife and I tend to plan one park a day, and then if we do everything that we want to do in that park, we may decide to hop over to a different park, but we won't necessarily plan to do that. So I've got the chosen park for the day. I've not yet put in the park opening times because, as I said, the official hours for the dates that we will be there are not yet available. So once those do become available, I will pencil those in. From there, we have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And the way that I normally mark those is you'll notice that a lot of these say not booked. And actually, this one should not say that because it's a quick service, so it doesn't need booking anyway. So I'll go ahead and correct that. Pretend you didn't see it. But this is a table service, Crystal Palace, Magic Kingdom. We have not yet booked that. Now, the reason that I want to make sure that I have that on my spreadsheet is because I want to know, once I have confirmed that booking, I'll put a time in. Then I'll have that time. But until then, I know I want to go there. I know it's a table service, so I need to book it, but it's not yet been booked. So I'll put that in, and then I'll come back later on and add the exact times. For quick services, because those don't need booking, I'll mark in where I think we're going to go, just because it helps me to plan out kind of meal credits and kind of where we're going to be in the park at a particular time on a particular day. But I won't need to book those in, so they won't necessarily have a specific time. You'll also see in some places I've put cook. Now, as I said in the video this morning, we are staying at Fort Wilderness now, so we do have a kitchen, so there will be some nights that we will be cooking. Now that means that I know that we're planning that meal will not need any meal credits, But it also will help me with planning the shopping, because I'll know when we first get there, okay, we're planning on cooking 8 times. So when we either order food from Amazon or from Walmart, or when we go to Walmart, I'll know that I need to pick up enough stuff for that many meals. From there, we have Fast Pass 1, 2, and 3. As you can see, a lot of these I have not yet filled in yet, because I'm not quite sure what we're going to want to be doing on each day yet. You'll notice that a lot of them I have started filling in, but they're not necessarily finalized. Highlights, then. Things that either we did not do the last time we were in Florida, that we want to make sure that we do, or things that we did that we want to make sure we do again, I'll put in here. These are not necessarily Fast Pass items, but these are maybe a ride that we don't need to Fast Pass because it's not usually that busy, but we don't want to forget about it. Or maybe it's not a ride. Maybe it's a show. Maybe it's the Great Moments in History by the Muppets, or something that we want to make sure that we pay attention for, but don't necessarily need to book. Next, I have a line for characters. So this, my wife has an autograph book. Here we go. I haven't actually been keeping an autograph book, but my wife has, so she has some lovely autographs all through there. And the book also has, which is I think quite handy, a checklist. So if I show you that, well, you can actually mark down characters as you see them. So what I have done then in my planning is I have made a list of characters which are not yet checked off in my wife's book, so that we can make a focus on finding those characters. So anytime you see a character listed in red, that's an important one that we don't yet have. From there we have the Chosen Park's closing time, which again, not yet filled in because they're not confirmed. And then any additional notes. So this is just kind of anything else that I want to write down about that day that doesn't fit in any of the boxes above. Dole Whip. My wife really wants to go back to Aloha Isle in Adventureland and have a Dole Whip, so we've made a note to do that on the first day. Also, I've got a note here saying that we might decide we want to look at going to the California Grill for a late evening meal after we've arrived, after we've traveled that day. Excuse me. So then I go into week 2, which you can see is a lot more planned out. We've got a couple tours that we're thinking about doing. We've got a couple courses that we're thinking about doing on one of our rest days, archery and cake making. And you can see I've got a couple quick services, I've got a couple times 2 meals, and this will get more and more filled in as time progresses. I also have a few formulas over here off to the side where it will do some math for me, and it will work out how many credits from the Disney dining plan we have used based on what I've typed in over here, so that with that we can obviously know how much we're looking at spending and how well we're planning that out. I also, because I'm a numbers kind of person, then have marked out some spreadsheets so that I can just at a kind of visual glance tell, okay, about how much of our time are we planning to spend in the Magic Kingdom, each park, etc. Because I know that there are some parks I want to spend more time in, so I want to make sure that our plans reflect that. I've also got kind of where we're having our meals, and what percentage of our meals we're having where, and then what part of our credits are used. Pardon me. Now this next one we've not filled in a great deal of yet, but it's a can't miss and must have. So restaurants, rides, anything that we want to see or that we think, oh wait, yeah, we definitely want to do that. I'll add it to this list, and then we'll just make sure that it's on that front page with a few notes onto why we want to do that. The next one then, I'm not actually going to be filling in anything on, but it's just a really handy reference. I have found a listing of each and every character dining, table service, and signature restaurant, and I have filled them in, along with what meals they are open for. Now, obviously, this is going to help with planning because I'll know at a glance what type of restaurant it is, what type of credits it uses, where it's located, and in the cases of these, you can see I've listed each character, and black we've met, red we have not met. So a bit of a dining bonus there with those. And then finally, I've not yet started really on this. I've just thrown a few things in there as examples. But for each day, kind of just in text rather than through graphs or whatever else. Basic notes, things that I've already done, and things that still need to do. So there you have it. That is my all-in-one planning spreadsheet. Now this does go onto my Google Drive, so it's available anywhere I can sign in, be it computer, laptop, tablet, mobile phone, wherever else. That's the way I plan for my trip. Obviously, everyone has a different method, but if you are interested in this one, if you would like a copy of this spreadsheet, drop me a message, let me know, and I'm happy to provide it. Hopefully you found something helpful here in this, and you can kind of get an idea of how someone else plans, and maybe it will give you some benefits on your own planning. By all means, let me know how you go about doing that. Give me any tips. This is only going to be our second trip as a couple. I was at Disney a few times before that when I was younger, but this is, as I said, our first trips, our second trip rather, that I'm doing most of the planning for. Have a great evening, and I will be back next Friday with some more Disney planning. Bye-bye.